All right. Hello, my name is Drew Tharp, and I'm doing this video for Swords Without Borders. I think that this is a great idea, and I really appreciate it. My dad is actually a doctor who's volunteered with Doctors Without Borders before, and I think this is just an awesome opportunity to support our frontline heroes as we fight this pandemic. So, uh, all I'm going to do, this video is going to be pretty short. I'm not usually a video kind of guy, but I'm going to go ahead and walk you through two of my favorite swords that I have in my collection. So, I actually live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and have a nonprofit called Tharp Armoury. You're welcome to look at that tharparmory.com. And that what I specifically do is I collect swords and I take them around and do lectures at schools and churches and um, social groups and things like that about the history of the sword. And I just really I love swords from all around the world. My collection consists of antiques and replicas from all around the world. And I really love sharing that knowledge and sharing that passion with other people. So I'm going to walk you through what is my favorite antique in my collection, and then also my favorite modern replica. So, what I'm going to say first and foremost is I am a saberist. I actually was on the Indiana University Saber team for 6 years, and now I teach HEMA saber, and I love sabers. That's definitely my weapon of choice. So, the antique that I'll talk about real quick is the Polish Zabla 1934. So, honestly, Matt Easton just did a video on this guy, and I mean, he knows way more about the sword than I'll ever be able to tell you. He listed, I mean, I watched his video and learned things that I didn't know, so I would definitely recommend going and watching his video. It's like 30 minutes long. Mine's not going to be 30 minutes long. But the Zabla 1934 is absolutely my favorite in my antique collection. And, obviously, this sword has a great story. If you go and listen to Matt Easton talk about it, it represents Polish history in a wonderful way. It was designed to be a really great sword, uh, and it really, really shows. It is by far one of the best cavalry swords in how it moves and how you can attack, actions, things like that. It is absolutely one of the best. It's got a wonderful sharpened false edge, and I believe that mine was field sharpened, as it's got a secondary bevel, and that was there when I got it. It's also got a good personal story for me. It was a friend of mine who found it in an attic and asked me to take a look at it. He actually had two in the attic, and he said, if you can sell one of them, you can have half the proceeds, or if you can sell them, you can have half the proceeds. And I just kept the other one as my commission for selling the other sword, which actually went to Mark McMorrow of Sword Forum International. So this is just a wonderful sword. If you ever get a chance to hold one of these, to use one of these, or to own one, I would highly recommend it. They are beautiful, beautiful swords that just move and track wonderfully. It's one of the few cavalry sabers in my collection that I feel like I could actually do foot combat with. Now, the other one that I'm going to talk about is my favorite modern replica, and that goes to the Hanway Saber of Charlemagne. So, some people may have seen this one before. You may have heard of it. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, so it's no longer available for purchase. You can't just go out to Cult of Athena and pick it up. But this sword really, really speaks to me. A couple of things that I really like about it. It's got this nice, pronounced yeoman here that comes up, and the back is the false edge is sharpened. This little piece of geometry, I think, is so cool. The way that the fuller terminates and then becomes a second fuller, you can see that is just a really awesome design that I just don't see very often. And then the yeoman actually narrows down beautifully. It's got a very nice edge on it. It's very sharp. mostly because it's a katana blade, and that's what Hanwei is good at making, are katana blades. So its edge is very similar to their katana blades. And then the hilt is it's got a beautiful ray skin wrap, and it's all gold plated, as is the original. They did take off some of the jewels and things that were on the original that actually most historians think were added on at a later date. So I just really, really like this sword. I really wish that I had another one. I only have the one. I wish that I had another one so that I could take this one out and cut with it and do some fun things like that. Right now, I tend to avoid using this one because I'd like to preserve it, and not ruin the gold finish and all of that kind of stuff. But so if you have a beat up one of these that you want to sell, let me know. But all in all, this is just an excellent sword. It handles very nicely. Again, it feels good for foot combat. I've actually done some Dao work as well, and it works well for that. So this is really one of my favorite swords in the collection. Definitely my favorite saber. And so there you go. There you have it. The two of my favorite swords in the Tharp Armory. Those go to the Polish Zabla 1934 for an antique, and to the Charlemagne saber made by Hanwei as the modern replica. Thank you.